Hi, I'm Steve Mouzon. I have with me here today Michael Lykoudis, who is the Dean of the School of Architecture at Notre Dame. One thing that I want to ask you about, or actually I want to applaud you for, first of all, the School of Architecture at Notre Dame has, over the last several years, taken a very strong position on the sustainability of architecture in the classical tradition, which is exactly what I mean, that territory needs to be taken, but I'm so glad to see you doing it. Where do you go from here?
Well, thanks, Steve. You know, it's interesting because classicism by its very nature is the embodiment of sustainability. When we talk about the classical, it's not just columns, of course. It's not just about Greco-Roman culture. It's about a world aspiration to be great in every time and every place, even though it doesn't always happen. But what happens with the classical is that certain forms and certain lessons learned from the past get projected into the future. And so the best always rises to the top. And when we talk about classical revivals, classicism has never come back quite the same way. It's always different. Ancient Rome doesn't look like ancient Athens. The Renaissance didn't look like ancient Rome. The 20s here or elsewhere in the world didn't look like the Renaissance. So it always comes back in a different way. And we talk about classicism today, it's very, very different. It's been influenced by modernism. It's been influenced by in industry, about new economic orders, new social orders. But what we have is the idea that the belief in the future, which is one of the ingredients for sustainability, the lessons learned, the best lessons learned from the past projected up. And so we're picking that up. Nobody talked about sustainability before the Second World War because it wasn't necessary. But now it is. And what we found out is our cities before the Second World War, which let's call them antiquity for the moment, but all of that was sustainable. And those lessons of those cities need to be relearned by most municipalities, states, regions, and countries, I'm afraid.
Why did you come to CNU? I know you have a lot to offer, but I suspect you may have some that you want to take back with you as well. Tell me about that.
Well, you know, the CNU is one of those great organizations that has put under scrutiny how we live together, you know, how we put cities together, and increasingly that is also beginning to include how we build architecture. Sure. And our profession is about how people live together and how we build it. So what I hope to get back to Notre Dame from all of this is the critical kinds of discussions that we have, the kind of heated debates that occasionally happen about how we build and how we live together. Sure. And we get better if we are in the company of people that can spot the weaknesses in our arguments. And so these kinds of get-togethers are very important. You know, the leaders of the movement are here, the leading practitioners, both in politics, in architecture profession, and in planning, are all here. So this is where it's happening.
Well, let me ask you this as well. I, as a mid-career professional, have really appreciated what you guys have done recently with the whole series of symposia. Tell me that that's going to continue and hopefully even increase, because it's a great benefit to those of us that can't go back to school on a on a full-time basis.
We're actually having a symposium this next week on Palladio, and the effect that he had across the ocean, and sure, how people today have been influenced by Palladio. So it's kind of going back to what we were talking about before, through time and place, right, lessons that are learned. And next year we're celebrating 30 years of Seaside. Sure. And so there'll be another event, and then we've got several planned after that as well. So
great.
They'll keep on coming. Yeah,
the more the better. We really do appreciate that. Well, thanks so much. I really do appreciate you coming down.